What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 to another replay cast by your boy Kendric. It's my pleasure to be back. And before we get going in this beautiful match between Infi and Fly, the Orcish Derby, if you will, I wanted to give a shout out to Rehcram, who is ever so good at finding these replays for me. And that also means that he's ever so good at finding juicy games for you to watch. So thank you, Rehcram, man. You're a real bro. But now, let's get back into the action here. We have Infi versus Fly. We have to say that because it's a mirror matchup, it's very important to know who's who. So Fly is in the blue trunks and Infi in the red, his opponent. Now, on paper, if you compare those two players, especially with recent performances, you know, in top-tier tournaments, I think it's clear to say that Infi is by far the favorite, considered to be by far the stronger player. However, Fly, you know, he's like a drunk brawler, I would sometimes call him, you know. If he comes in swinging and, you know, he's on the right foot, he has the potential to take down anyone in the world, really. But more often than not, unfortunately for him, that form, that tip-top shape is not really there. So, yeah, which Fly we're going to see? Is it the one that loses a hero early? Is it the one that shows up surprisingly strong? We're going to find out in a bit here. Both players going for different heroes, by the way. We have Infi in the reds going for that Farseer opening, and his opponent, Fly, is now going for the Shadow Hunter. So I always love me some Shadow Hunter first. I can't wait to see which abilities, you know, Fly is going to take there as well. Both players, by the way, are clanmates for the Rogue Warriors. So they know each other very well, I would say. You know, both are Chinese. Both probably have seen each other plenty of times and practiced together or against each other plenty of times there as well. So really cool. Infi, of course, unlike Fly, is a master of all trades, really. He can play any race very efficiently, very strong. At the moment, Orc seems to be his preference. That didn't really always seem to be that case, you know, especially when Night Elf was super strong and impactful at the beginning of patch 1.30. He oftentimes would stick to Night Elves, because especially against Orcs and humans, they did really, really well. Of course, ever since then, a lot of things have happened and a lot of things have changed. And Night Elves, they don't really look that good at the moment. And Orc certainly is a very stable race, you know. You compare it to the recent result at WGL Winter, a good Orc can almost achieve anything, it seems. So both players going for a relatively chill start. And the beauty of the Farseer opening, of course, here is that the Feral Spirits, the Wolf, they can definitely be used as scouting tools. Very efficient, very strong. And what's also cool about these spirits, I think that was a steal, right? Let's see. I think that was a steal because level 2 is not yet here. Is he going to get the second one with the Wolf? No. This time Fly takes it away and gets the level 2 with his Shadow Hunter. Of course, on the opposing side, Infi, he's level 2 himself, which means Chain Lightning is now available, and he goes in aggressively. I love that shot positioning, by the way, by Fly, making sure that the walking distance between hurt units and hurt heroes and the healing selves is cut short as much as possible. However, Infi, he knows exactly about this. He knows that right now, Fly is probably not in a position to fight because his early game with the Spirit Wolves is just way stronger. So what can he do? Farseer, of course, hits a little bit harder with those Wolves than the Shadow Hunter, who's now level 2, by the way, and went for Hex Healing Wave. So no snakes in the early game. He goes for a Hex on a Grunt of Infi and tries to deal as much damage as possible on that unit. His own Grunt takes a little bit of damage, but he has, of course, the numbers. Now the Wolves are being summoned to aid Infi in combat, and Fly needs to be very careful of his blue Grunt. Now uses that one actually as a body blocker. The speed scroll is immediately being popped, the counter speed scroll to match the movement speed of the retreating Grunt, but I fear the damage is not going to be enough. Of course, Fly's speed scroll was popped later, so it lasts a little bit longer. The Grunt of Infi, I think, gets away with 14 HP. Can the Shadow Hunter drop another attack? And it's exactly enough to take it down. Losing a Grunt early, especially in an Orc mirror, can oftentimes be a very, very big win for the person that killed the Grunt. So, pretty good. Now, both players are going to settle down, you know, they're going to slow down, and they're going to go for some more creeping. Fly's taking a very risky route here, going for a very strong creep camp. The mercenary camp with that wizard, if there's a lightning shield, can actually deal heavy damage onto Fly. Finds a nice item for the Shadow Hunter. Boots of Quel'Thalas +6 means more damage. However, he doesn't have a Blade Master, and the Shadow Hunter is not necessarily known to be a big damage dealer per se, so he's likely going to sell that item if he doesn't want to go for a Blade Master second. Or something along those lines. Beautiful cancel on that healing self, man. Infi is just on point. who found Claws of Attack and Slippers of Agility +3. So a lot of agility items in the game. And speaking of agility, there is a boy that is exactly that, and that is the Fire Lord. With the summons early on, he can actually deal a lot of damage. Orcs, as you know, guys, they don't have a lot of Dispel early, right? Shamans take a while if they even want to go that route. A lot of Orcs just go straight up Beast Ray units, which is not the case for Fly, by the way. And not the case for Infi either. So no tier 2 units, both players just taking fast, trying to go for economical upgrades in the War Mill and stuff like that. And of course relying on their grunts early. But you can really see how this mass summon styles, you know, Spirit Wolves, Lava Spawns, this is really swinging the tide of battle over in Infi's favor. And with that Pit Lord now coming into the fray, Fly needs to try and fight back. Pit Lord, by the way, went with Cleave first. Against all those summoned units, that can certainly be a viable option. He already has Claws transferred, so you want to stack up that attack damage as much as possible onto that Pit Lord. What are the players now transitioning into? See a Torrent Totem coming in for Fly. Makes a lot of sense, right? To dispel those Lava Spawns and the Feral Spirits as much as possible. He will go Torrent Walkers, Spirit Walkers. It's definitely going to be the unit of choice here, I would assume. Okay, let's see what else we have here. A little bit of Peon harass going on for Infi, but the Peons are safe. No fortified armor so far for either player. Actually, Infi is researching it right now. Does Fly do that too? No, he does not. Oftentimes, I feel like Orc players that forget about this upgrade sometimes regret that dearly, because a lot of races, a lot of players have realized that this is one of the major weaknesses of Orc. You know, it's oftentimes called the Achilles heel. For the Orcish race, when people just run in. Humans like to do that with water elementals, especially Night Elves with Huntresses, you know, Huntress run-bys and stuff like that. Very vulnerable, these burrows. So oftentimes, not having this upgrade, not having the fortified structures can really make or break a game. But now we see another skirmish, another altercation in the middle of the map here. We see the Lava Spawns and the Fire Lord dealing tremendous damage right here. Who went... for a lot of aggressive items here. I like that, actually, quite a bit. A lot of damage on that Fire Lord, only to be reinforced, of course, the more time goes by. When you have level 2 Lava Spawns, these creatures are not to be trifled with. They are very strong. Very good. And you can actually see that Fly now adds a couple of Headhunters into his army composition. Now, what is Infi doing here? He is going in for a cheeky tower siege because he realizes right now my time window is here to really use my summons to the fullest and try to keep Fly in the defenses. And once he has to commit to the towers, he can't really deal with my summons. And if he attacks my summons, my towers are going to go through. So it could be really a win-win situation for Infi, the favorite coming into this. However, can Fly and the Pit Lord hold their own against that onslaught? A lot of AoE cleave now coming in. The healings are ever so useful on the Shadow Hunter. There's a little bit of extra intelligence from the Mantle there as well. And now we have the first couple of Torrent Spirit Walkers in the mix as well. How much mana do they have? How good is the Dispel even going to be? They're only initiate, by the way, the Spirit Walkers. So right now, we currently only have Spirit Link to diminish some of the damage a little bit here. So the Summoned yet reigns supreme. The upgrade is only coming right now, the Adept training. The towers are now going to be the center of attention, but I think one of them might go through, and Infi already has the peons in location to drop some emergency repairing. No, he has to cancel it last second. The building construction time of Orcish buildings very well renowned. Now we see the Pit Lord surrounded with enough healing from the Shadow Hunter. He can hold this position for a long time and kill peons and enemy summons alike. Healing wave after healing wave is rattling in and keeps Fly in the defense alive for now. How long can he do that though? Infi, for now, has to retreat, loses all of his peons as it seems. Valuable experience for the Pit Lord, who could really turn out to be that late game carry, you know, if he gets there. Level 2 cleave, maybe 1 or 2 more offensive items, and this guy is going to shock those Infi units like there was no tomorrow. Spirit Walker falls, by the way. Infi now going for his own Spirit Walkers, of course. Spirit Link, super useful. No other tech really available here. Neither of the players is going for tier 3, especially not Fly, of course, who had to use even some resources to build a defensive tower inside of his base. So the attack was deflected, and Fly is now slowly but surely making the Raider transition in here. Raiders, of course, not really doing well against Grunts, which still seems to be the strong front line for Infi, who of course saw that building while he was sieging up in Fly's base, so he knows exactly what's coming, or at least he can assume exactly what's coming. Wind Riders, you know, are not really an option as long as you don't sneak him in and get that critical mass of Wind Riders. They're just countered too easily, I feel, by Bat Riders, which your Orc opponent could throw at you. So yeah, I think Fly has deflected this very well, and what I really like him do here is that he always makes sure to have enough mana on the Shadow Hunter. And let me tell you guys, the Shadow Hunter level 4 makes such a difference, you know. His healing wave is already so powerful, but a level 2 Hex, especially against units, if he wants to go that route, can really make a difference. Now, of course, the Terrifying Howl. So huge to diminish and lower all the damage from Infi's grunts. He's very grunt heavy at the moment. Tries to send some of them in the backline to take care of those squishy troll headhunters, but fabulous micro from Fly so far. Now even adds a Kodo Beast into the mix. However, the Fire Lord, level 3, now has the bigger spawns available, and here they are. Getting a little bit dispelled immediately. Another dispel drops, and that's huge for Fly. These healing waves, man, they make all the difference so far. And Fly, once again, reigning supreme in the early stage of this combat. A lava spawn falls, dispelling is the feral spirits of the Farseer. Really well done. The Coda gets some munchin done, and I'm not sure if Infi can actually hold this. The Fire Lord, though, with those stronger auto attacks, can maybe, you know, swing the tide of battle back into Infi's favor. It's really just a heroes only show. 2 grunts and 2 heroes. That's all he has, but with powerful right clicks, he basically holds his own, and that's very good. Now I think Fly has realized that with just units, he can't really fight Infi anymore, so he needs to apply a little bit of a tighter grip onto his heroes. And actually, Fly holds it. Level 4 Shadow Hunter, level 3 Pit Lord, very important. He didn't really get any additional items to amplify his damage. However, he did find the Robe of the Magi here in the bottom right corner, so that's a huge item. Probably one of the best on the Shadow Hunter to really make sure he never runs And what can Infi really do, you know? He's not really as diverse in tech as his opponent. He's going tier 3. Fly's still tier 2. He's probably going to try to pump out more Kodos and more tech units. He did research Ensnare, by the way, and I was going to say, but there are no Raiders, but he now has 1 in the mix. So this 1 Raider, of course, is going to be useful to make sure his focus goes well. Of course, also great players like Infi and Fly, they have excellent micro, and as such, they will oftentimes be able to run away from the Kodos when they're trying to eat your units. However, you can't run away when you're ensnared. So I think this 1 or 2 Raider, these 1 or 2 Raiders that Fly now has in his army can also be used as a lockdown, so the Kodo will always get full value when it comes to eating enemy units of Infi. And what are we going to see? Speaking of Infi, what are we going to see here? The favorite in this match looking a little bit, I wouldn't say wonky, but definitely not looking as strong as I thought he would. Because Fly, with his extraordinary hero selection, has actually managed to fight back really well. Now, this creep camp is likely not going to be taken as Infi goes for another attack. And this is what I mentioned earlier. No fortified defenses now for Fly, so these burrows are fully exposed. The tower falls within a couple of seconds, really, with that strong damage coming in from the wolves and the grunts, and Fly is going to lose 2 structures simply because he didn't go for that 1 upgrade. So hopefully that's not going to cost him more than that. And I think Infi, he's just going in, you know. He's just going in, he realized he can take those structures. There is absolutely no defense against that. Fly, of course, also doesn't have Peon Micro to repair. As I mentioned it, though, the upgrade gets finished, and the Peons are trying to repair this a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if Infi goes for a TP after he destroys another burrow. Fly is now supply blocked. There's absolutely nothing he can do about that, and reproduce his army is not really an option. Lost a couple of peons here in the backline as well. So this was heavy damage for Fly. However, his army is still looking very good, and Infi knows that. That's why he immediately peaced off. That's why he needs all that healing right now. And speaking of damage, by the way, this Fire Lord is absolutely ridiculous. So good, such good stats on him. Fantastic. I think Fly really needs to make sure to either hex and focus, or just surround that guy as fast as possible in a team fight. Pit Lord still relatively poor in items. Fly didn't really get much creeping done because of that attack with Infi. Now Infi knows that his army is not really where it needs to be yet, so he's creeping something relatively safe next to his base. Doesn't really want to go out on the map too much. Man, these lava spawns get dispelled immediately, and that's a huge deal right now. That is such a huge deal. These Spirit Walkers counter the Fire Lord, who really only has his auto attacks, his right clicks right now. That's the only thing he has, but those hit hard. Now, here goes the Pit Lord leading the charge. A TC comes in as a 3rd hero, as the savior in a very much emergency situation here. It's immediately focused though, only level 1. Does he have the stomp? There it is. Stuns multiple enemies in his surroundings, but I think the TC is going to fall. He spawned in a very unfortunate location between Fly's heroes and the army. Tries to go for a little bit of healing. Scroll of healing was popped for Infi, but the TC falls. If he gets the Pit Lord though, that was a worthy trade. One more auto attack and the Pit Lord goes down. Fly with a huge one. Not only holds his base safe, but also gets one of the main carries for Fly's army. But Fly, man, look at the mana count, the Shadow Hunter. You think Pit Lord is the only one that's important in his army? You're dead wrong, because those healing waves can make all the difference right now. Speaking of making a difference, those Kodos, they've all eaten. They're all they're all happy little Kodos, if you will. Had enough food. And that's why Infi really tries to go after them. One more auto attack maybe from the Fire Lord and it would have been enough. But the Feral Spirits, the Spirit Wolves, they're chasing after. Get that grunt free. Every unit matters for Infi, who is still sieged up and in danger. Second Kodo still has a grunt in its belly. The TC's back, of course. Level 1 takes not even a minute to get that guy back into your army. And here come Torrents, the big bad boys. We don't have massive Spirit Walkers, that would have been amazing, but just normal Torrents now in the mix, of course, with the Pulverize built in, the strong auto attacks. These units are not to be trifled with, and Fly realizes that against this powerhouse of a unit, he currently does not have the means to take him down. This grunt, I think, was forgotten, by the way, by Infi. He probably didn't see it getting released off the Kodo, and level 5 Shadow Hunter. Is he going to go Healing Wave? Absolutely. If you thought the healing was strong before, now it's even stronger. Fly. His heroes so far have made all the difference. Didn't have enough money, by the way, to get the Pit Lord out of the tavern. Not even needed, in my opinion, either. So it'll be back soon. Level 3 only. Of course, keep in mind that while the Pit Lord was gone, he didn't really get any experience. And I think if he had like 1 or 2 more items, if he maybe gets to level 4, the Pit Lord can just make a bigger difference. Right now, though, I think in actual hero impact, Fly's looking really, really good with level 4 Fire Lord. The only real problem for him is that, can he fight the healing? Love the single creeping, by the way, that the TC gets more experience in. Now, the aura is always a big boon. You know, more attack speed, more movement speed, especially for the heroes in the Tauren. That is going to be a real asset. And Fly, he knows exactly that the moment he loosens his grip onto Infi, that's when he gives him time to creep. That's when he gives him time to heal up. So after the Pit Lord joins the fray again, I think we're going to see another attack come in. Speed Scroll actually being used so he doesn't fall victim to those ensnares of the Raiders. Very crazy, very cool. How much mana does the Shadow Hunter have? He has 1 normal mana pot, and he's currently still replenishing from the Clarity Potion. So the Shadow Hunter will be really the one thing that keeps Fly in this attack, right? Because army-wise, I think now with the addition of the Tauren and just the Fire Lord dishing out so much damage, and now the TC stunning multiple units as well, I think it might be in Infi's favor. However, needs to be careful not to lose the TC again. Only has 1 protective item, has a 1 of mana stealing as well for more stumps potentially. And I love the target prioritization by Infi. Goes for the Kodos immediately. The Kodo has eaten, and the Kodo has eaten a big cow. And now it needs to be kept safe at all costs. Nice surround attempt against the Farseer, and Snare was huge. However, doesn't get the damage done just yet. And now the heroes, especially the Fire Lord in the back, just whoosh, 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 dropping in those slaps, dropping in those big hits onto Fly's units. He's uncontested. He is so important for the defense. And now, Ensnare onto the Farseer. More attacks trickling in. Does he have a Hex? How much mana left on the Shadow Hunter? They're chasing. They're running after this Farseer. It is such a mayhem. It's such a chaotic fight here. But where is the first hero kill? I feel like whoever loses their first hero first is going to lose that battle. Fly now surrounded by Torrents, by Wolves, by everything. The Kodo, he doesn't pay attention to that one. Needs to be kept alive as much as possible. Has a grunt in his belly. The grunt is out now. It's not looking good. Level 4 though, however. 1 Tauren has fallen here. One Spirit Walker. If the Farseer falls, that could be all she wrote for Infi. The main hero, the backbone of Infi's army has now fallen. No more Wolves, no more Chain Lightning. However, the Fire Lord is still there. Also bruised and battered though. Keep that in mind. We have master upgrades for Spirit Walkers. They can revive the Tauren brothers. Both Spirit Walkers and normal Tauren. It is such a massive power spike. Now, how much mana do they have? Pretty okay. Looks pretty okay. Huge Howl coming in once again. The damage is so reduced. Immediately dispelled. These guys are not giving each other an inch. I feel like with the exception of that Farseer loss, both players are really duking it out to the max. An Orc mirror at its best. Every unit is so tanky, every unit matters so much, and that's why these fights take as long as they do. But I feel like maybe with that risky choice to go for Tauren and the Master Upgrade on the Spirit Walkers, it might be enough for Infi to hold his ground for now. There's a Coda, by the way. If he gets a surround off that, that would be amazing pretty much. But of course, Micro is now everywhere. Micro is all across the map, you know. Spirit Walker body block coming in from Infi. It was not enough, though. The Fire Lord is still out in the open here. Definitely the most wanted. And finally, the Shadow Hunter is out of mana, and that means Fly needs to retreat. How much time does he have to retreat, though? With these Walkers and with these Torrents just growing in numbers. You know, what is he building right now? Nothing. Needs to wait for the Farseer, Infi that is. But there are, of course, creep camps still left. And the TC man close to level 3. Once he gets the Stomp +2, or once he gets the Stomp level 2, it's going to be a significant increase in stun time for those battles. It's going to be so huge. And if you have stunned units and the Torrents are just going to slam their totem down the ground and pulverize everything, it means a whole lot of damage. Speaking of Torrents, more are currently being added into the army. And what is the counter solution? What is the answer for Fly? Is he gonna make his own Torrents? No, he can't. He's not tier 3. I think that is really the big difference, you know. Fly, he relied on his strong tier 2 timing. He tried to end the game when he couldn't. And Infi, he took the risk of teching to tier 3. He took that risk, and so far it's paying off. No more mining available for either of the players. Actually, because of that early harass, Fly still has 740 left in his bank. But I doubt we're going to see expansions in this game, guys. I feel like this game is going to be decided relatively soon with maybe a golden creep jack from Infi who spots out his opponent Fly immediately. Fire Lord live exposed, and here comes the cavalry for Infi. One Torrent, the second one in the mix very soon. And now, who is going to be able to hold this ground and maybe end the game? Put the nail in the coffin for the other opponent. Now, Kodo is really the one true focus target that he needs to go for. Not only does he limit the target's damage amplifier for the army, but also he gets rid of that pesky munching, you know, because Torrents need to be kept safe and warm and cozy. Now, Farseer was the focus target before, is the focus target again. Speed Scroll and Hex against the Farseer. Is it going to be enough damage for now? I don't think it is. Spirit Link coming in so huge. Look at all these armies for Fly. I think it's actually looking pretty okay, but mana is getting dangerously critical for the Shadow Hunter. Even mid-combat micro to get the maximum amount of value onto the mana regeneration of the potion. So much damage being dealt onto the Farseer, but Infi is just toying with Fly at this point, I think it seems, keeping the Farseer there close enough for Fly to focus him only to keep him safe then afterwards. Fire Lord, is he finally going to get outclassed by the sheer number of Spirit Walkers? But look at those Torrents. They're absolutely uncontested, and Fly knows exactly that. With that Raider, he's going for a Hail Mary. He's going for a hero focus onto the Fire Lord. Body blocks coming in from the Shadow Hunter here, maybe, but the damage is simply not there. And in the stampede comes of Tauren, in Tau, raging and angry, and I really think it's only a matter of time until Fly realizes that his hero focus attempts have failed, and his army is outgunned, outsmarted, and outnumbered. What can he do here? One final healing wave. Now, the Shadow Hunter is completely dry and on the run. Level 4 on that Pit Lord, man. Full mana. The Howling Terror is just not enough. He's now waltzing into that peon line. Poor little peons, but I doubt it's even going to matter. The army is so strong of Infi. He does long distance mining. You could even just stop the chase right now if you wanted to and build an expansion, I feel. Here comes the Pit Lord with the last array, but I think Infi's on the warpath and he's going to try and end this game anytime soon now. Fly, what does he have left? Long distance mining here coming in as well. Saved a Spirit Walker there. Of course, Spirit Walkers, even in ethereal form, are very much endangered by the Farseer with the Chain Lightning. So strong. Lose another Grunt, and that's a level 5 Farseer. The Spirit Wolves are going to tear Fly apart. If he wants to go that route, he could actually go level 3 Lightning as well if he wanted to. No needed. Not needed. Man, Fly is struggling. He played so well in the early stages of the game, had the momentum, had the pushing power in his hands, but it turns out to be that the tier 3 tech choice of Infi, it just paid off. Finds more illusions on those Torrents, and right now you're confused. You're it's maximum bamboozlement here. Coming in for Fly, he doesn't know who to attack. All he knows is that he needs to go for a Hail Mary onto the heroes, but it's just not happening. The Farseer maybe could be dropped again, but look at the Spit Lord. He now gets to taste his own medicine. Well, there's a surround of the Farseer, though. That is actually something I didn't expect would happen, but the Shadow Hunter explodes under the pressure of the Fire Lord. The carry that we mentioned is now level 5, and I think it doesn't even matter. Fly can tap out here without his first hero. There's absolutely nothing he can do. The Pit Lord is really going in for a last hooray. He has a massive healing potion, so maybe he expects Infi to, you know, get baited there and try to trade heroes, but he taps out. GG! What a fiery, quite literally, what a fiery orc mirror between two stellar players. Infi and Fly really duking it out to the max, but Infi, man, he lived up to his reputation of being just one of the best players in the world, and especially in Orc lately, I feel like he's shown us so many good games. I really like the hero diversity too, coming in from Fly. The Pit Lord, we've seen that many times against other races too, how strong that hero can become if left unchecked. You know, if level 3, level 4, maybe a couple of good items for the cleave, it can really make or break an opponent. Unfortunately, this time it wasn't enough to break Infi, but we still hope you had a good show and you had a good time, even if you're a Fly fan. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave us a thumbs up and subscribe to Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 here on YouTube for more videos in the near future. Until then, see you next time.